Welcome to Creating Characters with Flair. My pen name is Dahlia DeWinters, and I am so pleased you decided to take part in this online workshop. The purpose of this video is to explore basic strategies for creating three-dimensional characters. You have a plot, you have an idea, but you may be wondering, how do I choose and/or create the right characters for the story? You can't just put any character into any story. It makes it easier for you, the writer, to have characters that will assist you in telling your story. And don't worry, you're not alone in the wilderness. Authors have been wrangling characters since they put pen to paper, and sometimes it feels as if it doesn't get any easier. Characters tend to go their own way sometimes, so we need these strategies to keep them in line. After viewing this video, not only will you have the strategies to keep those characters in line, but you'll also have ways to create intriguing story people that will pop right off the page. Okay, so we're going to start with a basic question. What are characters? Characters are the imaginary story people that push your story forward. You create them, or sometimes they spring full-blown from your head right to the page. They make your readers laugh, they make your readers cry, and sometimes they make them want to throw the book across the room. So here's another question. Why create good characters? Isn't my story good enough? First of all, of course your story is good enough. But think of your story as a cake, a really good cake. And to make that cake even better, you want to put a little icing on it. We want to make the reader fall in love with our characters and to root for them throughout the story. A flat character leaves readers flat, leaves your story flat. Creating three-dimensional characters boosts your story to the next level. So we want to avoid those flat characters, right? Well-rounded characters have desires and goals, things they want to accomplish in your story world. As such, they make their decisions based on these goals. For example, if a person is training for a marathon, they're most likely going to avoid going to fast food restaurants and prepare their food at home. On the other hand, a frazzled person, desperate for a quick bite after a long day at work, will go ahead and grab that burger at the drive-thru. And as the story unfolds, the readers keep turning those pages. Another example is your run-of-the-mill horror movie. If the protagonists decide to take a hike in the woods instead of investigating that haunted house or haunted basement, the movie would have a very different plotline. If you've ever run a web search for creating characters, you are well aware there are many methods available for characterization. You can use appearance, speech, behavior, thoughts, emotion, the way the character is perceived in their environment. I'm sure we've also seen the character building questionnaires consisting of what the character looks like, their favorite food, their favorite color. I have even seen one with the character's email address. All those physical accoutrements are fine. While physical characteristics may give us some insight on our little story person, it's not what drives the story. We need to get deep down into their golden, delicious soul. Simply put, a positive trait is something you like about someone. In Star Wars: A New Hope, Luke Skywalker's positive traits are that he's brave and optimistic. He's willing to help. And on the flip side, a negative trait obviously is something you don't like about that person. Let's take a look at Sarah Connor from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. She is single-minded and inflexible in some of her decisions, which we can understand given all she went through in the first movie of the Terminator. Remember that walking skeleton coming out of the fireball? Yikes! What are story goals? A story goal is something the character wants to accomplish within the story. What does the character seek? What do they want? The character may have many goals. However, zeroing in on one or two goals makes the story more focused. Take The Walking Dead, for example. The story of nearly everyone in there is to survive. The Wolf of Wall Street, to make money, to get rich. The Shawshank Redemption. At first, it's to prove his innocence of his wife's murder, but when that doesn't work, his new goal is to escape the prison. Remember that a character's goal can change within the story, and that's okay. Finally, what are the stakes? What does the character have to lose? Stakes. Personal stakes are a must for your story. Your character must not simply react to what is happening around them. They have to be personally invested in the story you're telling. Yes, I used the word personal twice in 2 sentences, and I'll say it again. Make the stakes personal. Killing the big bad or saving the world is fine, but that's a huge stake that a lot of people can't really internalize. Consider the smaller, more personal goals within the larger ones. In Signs, Mel Gibson wants to kill the aliens, true, but that's only because they're threatening his family. His goal, his personal goal, is to protect his family. Now let's bring all this information together by looking at a few iconic characters in film. We have John McClane in Die Hard. His positive traits are that he's determined, ingenious, resourceful. Remember, he spent most of the movie barefoot running around in a construction zone. His negative traits are that he's cynical and flippant. You can see the flippancy in the famous air vent scene where he's talking to himself. Even in the midst of all that chaos and bloody, injured feet, he's still sort of making jokes. His goal for the movie is to save the hostages, but his personal goal is to save his estranged wife, who is in the group of hostages. The stakes are, if he fails, it will result in the death of his estranged wife. And we have Ellen Ripley from one of my favorite movies of all time. Her positive traits are that she's capable, assertive, and good under pressure. Her negative traits is that she's distrustful, especially in the second movie, and she's also short-tempered. When she wants information, she wants it right away. Her goal is to wipe out the xenomorph, but her personal goal is to save Newt's life, her own life, and from the first movie, the life of Jonesy the cat. The stakes for this, if she fails, she'll die, basically. And in the second movie, Newt will also die. Okay, we looked at 2 heroes. Let's take a look at a villain. Loki from the Avengers movies. His positive traits are that he's intelligent, he's witty, and he's adaptable. His negative traits are that he's manipulative, narcissistic, and attention-seeking. His goal is to be king of Asgard. What's at stake? It's not necessarily a physical death, but it's a death of his dream and a death of his ego. If he does not achieve his story goal, he will always feel inadequate and cheated. I hope that this brief video lesson will get you started on creating good characters or give you ideas on how to improve your characters in progress. Remember, it's not always necessary to know every single thing about your character before you write. You will get more information about your character as you delve deeper into the story as well as into their backstory. Don't be afraid to change their goals or add or subtract a trait or two. There is no one way to create your characters. Take the tips that work for you in your personal creative style. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best in your future writing endeavors.